worthy. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you, me, and everybody on the planet is worthy of some type of purpose. Everybody has a purpose. I feel like the moment you are born, the moment you are created, you have a purpose. Now, it's up to you on whether or not you want to fulfill that purpose. Now, you don't necessarily know exactly what it is. It may take you years to figure it out. You may know the moment that you turn 4 years old, the moment you can start seeing things and everything, the moment you can start remembering things. Maybe that's when you know your purpose. Now, that's rarer than usual, obviously, but it's different for everybody. But you are worthy. And you're probably looking at the video and you're being like, well, this is stupid. Why am I even listening to this kid? But hear me out. The way I look at it is that when we are created, when you're created and when I'm created, when your mom is created, when the guy across the street is created, when we're all created, right? We have the ability to be exceptional. We have a purpose of some sort, but it's up to us on whether or not we want to fulfill. So the way I look at it is that God puts you on this earth. He gives you the ability to be exceptional. He gives you a purpose or something of that sort, right? And then I feel like, now I don't know if it's 100% true, obviously, I'm not God or anything, but I'm using it kind of as an example. The way I look at it is, we have this ability to be exceptional. We have this purpose. But what's going to happen is throughout your entire life, you're going to get obstacles thrown at you consistently. Whether that's your own thoughts, whether that's people in your life, whether that's, a job that you have, whether it's school, and I feel like it's all kind of like a test to see if you are still willing to go after that purpose, a test to see if you are worthy. Because you're worthy from the beginning, but it's up to you to decide whether or not you think you're worthy enough. And yeah, you might not flat out come out and be like, oh, I'm not worthy. But what does your actions say? Well, if you've always thought about what it'd be like to have a bunch of money, but yet you're poorer than ever, and you're not willing to take that bet on yourself, then you yourself are telling you that you are not worthy of having that money. You are not worthy of having that success. It's the same thing with like family. When you look at like other people and they have family, and you think to yourself, man, I wonder what it'd be like to have a family, or man, I really do somewhat want a family, but I don't want to put the effort into a relationship, so why even try? You're telling yourself you're not worthy enough to have a family. You're telling yourself you're not worthy enough to have a relationship, because you're given obstacles to make you think that way. It happens all the time. There's people, like in relationships, for example, there's people that get cheated on, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard, especially to get over it. But there's people that get cheated on and then never even attempt to be with anybody after that. It's all obstacles. You're getting put in these obstacles to see if you are worthy enough to go after it. And it might not even be God. It might just be you, right? I think He might just put the challenge there, the obstacle in place, but it's you to decide whether or not you're worthy enough. He knows you're worthy enough. He knows you can do whatever you want. You have that ability, but that's up to you to decide. And 100% of the time, it's our fault. It doesn't matter if you blame me. It doesn't matter if you blame your parents. It doesn't matter if you blame anybody. At the end of the day, it is your fault. It doesn't matter what obstacle you get put in. The thing is, the truth is that everybody gets put through issues. Everybody gets put through obstacles, problems, something to throw them off their track to do what they are meant to do in their life. And a lot of times people fall victim to the whole obstacle, and then they give up on what they were intended to do. Or they flat out from the beginning just never thought that they were worthy enough, so they never even tried. There's that type of person too. So, like I said, your own thoughts, people, money, there's so many things that can become an issue, an obstacle in your life to throw you off track of what you're supposed to do, right? And who knows, like if you believe in God, then in my personal opinion, you have to accept the existence of the devil. Now, am I saying everything is God, or everything is the devil, or it's all God's plan, or it's the devil's plan, or the devil made me do it? No. But what I am saying is you have to accept the fact that if you believe in God, you have to believe in the opposite force. So, who knows? It could be the devil, right? Like, think about it like this way. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the If I Was the Devil speech by, I think Paul Harvey's his name. He, like, is like in the 50s, and he, like, predicts everything that's happening or going on today. And he was saying, like, if I was the devil, this is what I would do to ruin the human race, right? Like, to take people away from God, right? So, when I watched that, I kind of got an idea, like a way to think. If God gave me this gift, whether it was my mindset, a really great person in my life, or, you know, an opportunity, what if I was the devil, what would I do to remove that from my life? Well, okay, I'll give you an example. If God gave you the one, whether girl or guy, it doesn't matter, gave you the one, what would he do, or what would the devil do to take that away from you? Because they both know this is the one for you, but it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. So what would he do to take you off track and get rid of that special person out of your life so that you live in regret, right? What would he do? Well, in my personal opinion, now I'm not the devil and I am not God, so I do not have the answer. But if it was me, I think I would fill your thoughts with a lot of doubt. I think I'd fill your thoughts with a lot of fear, like uncertainty, a lot of problems. I'd bring up past experiences if you've had any, which everybody has. I'd make sure that you knew that. I would make sure that you remembered each and every little thing that you've experienced, whether it was through other people or if it was happening to you. That way you'd blame this person for those past situations, or you would tell yourself that, well, if this happened before, it's going to happen again. Whereas instead of looking at through God's vision and being like, well, this is a new person, so I'm going to treat them like a new person. This isn't like the past, but this is the kind of thing I thought about, like a way to, it's like a new way of thinking about things, right? When something really good comes to your life, what would the devil do to take that away from you? I mean, really, like if I was to give you, or if God was to give you the one, what would the devil do to take her or him away from you? Everything. He would make you look at other people. He would tempt you. He would fill your mind with thoughts, negative thoughts about how they're such a terrible person, or, you know, he would make you overthink about things like, oh man, she didn't text me back in 2 minutes. You know, little things that don't really matter. Or, man, she didn't really reach out to me at all. Things like that. I think if I was the devil, that's what I would do. Because I feel like he's really good at mind games, right? Uncertainty, fear, doubt, and insecurity. I'd bring up insecurity in you. That way, it would throw you off track as well. Every little guy or every little girl or whatever that he or she looks at, no matter if it was with a lustful intent, I would use that as a way to steer you away from him or her, right? And it's the same thing with like business. Like if you have a dream to have a successful job or whatever, I would constantly tell you that you aren't worthy enough. I would constantly tell you that it's not possible. I would constantly tell you that it's not meant for you. I would use other people around you, like family and friends, get in their heads to tell you that it's not possible. That way it throws you off track, because you're like, well, if my really close father or my really close mother tells me that it's not possible, then it must not be possible. I would steer you away from God. I would tell you that God is not the answer. God doesn't have the answer for you, so you should look for your family. Now, I'm not saying that talking to family is a bad thing. It's a good thing. But I'm just saying, realize, though, if you're going to accept the existence of God, you have to accept the existence of the devil. Now, that doesn't mean I'm saying everything is God or everything is the devil. That is not true. Everything is not God's plan. Everything is not the devil's plan. The devil did not make you do it sometimes. God didn't make you do it sometimes. You know, you have free will, so you don't forget that you have an independent thought. The way I kind of look at it is that you have an angel and you have a demon over your shoulder. each one is telling you bits and pieces of everything, right? Your own thought is where you decide which side to pick from. And that's how it is. That's just the way I think of it, right? I mean, like I said, I could be wrong. I am new to this whole, like, relationship with God and all that. But it's just the way I kind of opened up my eyes, and I was like, that is true. If I was to get a really good gift from God, whether that was my mindset or, a special someone or good friend, something like that, what would I do to get rid of them? I would self-sabotage, I would doubt, I would place insecurity in myself, I would, do all these things to make sure that I got thrown off track. If my mindset was really good, I would tell myself I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my life. I would use people around me to detour off track. I would use it to get away from getting closer to that goal. That's what I would do. I would tell myself that I'm not good enough. I would tell myself I'm not worthy enough. But anyways, the point is, you are worthy. You have a purpose. You might not know what it is, but you have a purpose. You are worthy. You are capable of doing it. You have a ability to be exceptional. It's whether or not you want to use that ability to your advantage. And it's whether or not you're going to allow these obstacles and problems that come up in life, which they will. It's guaranteed. You're going to have problems that are going to throw you off track, and it's up to you whether or not you want to get back onto that path to where you want to be, or you go the path to where you follow everybody else, or you just don't feel your purpose. And then that's the thing. That's the end of it. The last thing you want to do is pass away, go to judgment, right? You get judged, and then he holds up a board showing you what you could have been if you would have just stayed on track. But because you let the obstacle get in your way, you lived the life you lived, and then that probably wasn't the life you want to live anyways. So I know it's kind of like an extreme example, but it just kind of gets the point across that it's like, you are worthy enough. You have an ability to be exceptional. Everybody does. Doesn't matter if you're dumb. Doesn't matter if you are fat. It doesn't matter if you're, weak or, poor, whatever. There's all obstacles that everybody has to get across. It's up to you whether or not you want to face them. And most of the time, like I said in another video, where if you don't face uncomfort, if you don't get comfortable with being uncomfortable, chances of you being successful is probably super low, because it's a very uncomfortable situation to be in. It doesn't matter what kind of success you want. Relationships, starting a business, doing social media, just maybe your goal to be successful is communicate with as many people as possible. You're going to get faced with obstacles all the time. If you want to be more social, you're going to get people that are going to be negative to you. If you want to start content, you're going to get that thought that, I don't have these many followers in a month. I'm going to give up. I'm done. I'm giving up. Starting a business, you're going to have that thought of, wow, I'm not making money the first day. Must not be for me. Relationships, you're going to get in one argument. Tell yourself that it's not worth it and that you're done. And then next thing you know, you missed out on a really good person because you couldn't face a simple problem. So that's what I'm saying. You are worthy enough of whatever it is that you want. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to put in the effort, put in the work to get that thing that you want. You can't have new relationships if you don't socialize. Yes, there is the occasional somebody just randomly walks in your life, but either way, you still have to be social to an extent to allow them into your life. If you block everybody out, you're never going to have a relationship. That's just how it is. I don't care how introverted you are. That's the truth. We all have these issues, we all have these problems, obstacles, insecurities, everything, doubts that will randomly come up, and just know it's just a way to get you off track of where you're supposed to go. But understand that you are worthy. God has a plan for you. You just have to be willing to follow that plan. And just understand that all these problems and stuff is just all a part of the process. It doesn't matter what you do. Like I said, relationships, business success, it doesn't matter. You are going to have doubts, insecurities, problems, fears, everything that's going to throw you off track. So my advice would be stay on track, follow his plan, and understand that you are worthy enough. You have an ability to be exceptional. Don't compare yourself to others, because that's what tells you that you're not worthy, because you're like, well, if he didn't do it, how am I supposed to? That's not the name of the game. You are in your own battle against you. You have God on your side. Remember, when you say a prayer, when you talk to God, there's two people listening in on the telephone. I heard that from, I think, George Janko. But it's perfect, though. It's the truth. Like, if he hears you, that means he hears you too. So, you kind of got to think about that. And then, all religion stuff aside, seriously, though, you are worthy. You have that ability to be exceptional. You just have to be willing to go against the problems and obstacles, fears, all that, to accomplish whatever it is you want. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. That's not the point. It's just the truth. That's reality. So, understand that, and you are worthy. I promise you, with enough hard work and all that, dedication and just pure belief in yourself, then you have all that. You have that perseverance, and no matter what's in your path, you're willing to go push it away and keep going forward. I'd say you're on a pretty good path. But good luck to you whenever you do. I wish you the best, and that's really it. You're worthy, and other than that, life isn't too short to make a change.